Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, the only daily football programme on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow. Delighted to have your company. The main headlines tonight. Celtic are into the draw tomorrow for the playoff place to try and reach the Champions League group stages proper after their 0-0 draw against Qarabağ. We will assess their performance and we'll also look to Aberdeen. Can they produce a performance against Kairat Almaty to get the win at Pittodrie to take them a stage further towards the Europa League group stages? And we'll also discuss Motherwell. They're in a bit of trouble with the SPFL. They've charged them over the trouble in the Premiership playoff match at the end of last season. Just a few of the topics we'll be discussing. Allan is with me, and our Bitroom guest, I'm delighted to say, is Des McKeown. So, lads, Celtic, in the end, it looked to me like a composed European performance, a 0-0 draw. Were you impressed, Roughie?
I was impressed with the draw. I was impressed with the way they set themselves out. I think it was a complete team performance from the goalkeeper right through Izagiri, Beaton. I'm still not too sure about up front, but when you go there and have an objective and a result to get, and you get it, you have to take it.
Well, I'll tell you, the Azerbaijan players were making a lot of noises about what they were going to do to Celtic in the return leg. It was a hostile crowd there cheering them on, as you would expect. But Des, Celtic, apart from one top drawer save from Craig Gordon, I just thought they looked comfortable on a very, very difficult pitch.
Yeah, it was. I expected probably more from Qarabağ in terms of attempts on goal, but I think that speaks volumes of the job that the Celtic players, or the way they produced the goods on the night. I thought, Roughie mentioned Beaton. I thought Beaton was excellent. I thought Van Dijk hardly broke sweat. And alongside him, the defenders were very composed. I thought, other than Craig Gordon saved his right-hand side from Almeida, I think, there wasn't really anything that you thought Celtic are in control here. As much as Qarabağ had a lot of possession, it was in areas of the pitch that I'm sure Ronnie Dyler was quite content with and happy with. So over the piece, I think Celtic were worthy winners. Yeah,
you're a goalkeeper of standing, Roughie. Yeah. Was that a save that Craig Gordon should have made under normal circumstances?
His quality, yeah, but you've still got to make them, and he has now established himself as that's the kind of goalkeeper in European football who's going to win you games, and that's the kind of keeper he is. He's done it in numerous occasions, even last year in Europe. He did it to keep Celtic in the game as well, and he's done it again, and clean sheets is what it's all about.
Yeah, I think the two protecting midfielders was the key as well, Des, because Brown just breaks up the play of the opposition.
Yeah, especially in a game like last night where the strength of the opposition is in that area. I thought Beaton was probably Celtic's best player, but Brown, the energy and the organisational skills that he has, you can see him constantly cajoling, constantly pulling players into, tighten up that middle area of the pitch. So very, very important. And he just acts as a screen to the back, particularly the central defenders. There weren't any spaces for little slide rule passes. I think one or two get through, but Van Dijk stepped across behind Boyata and just mopped it up.
The Celtic managers always talked about progress, and I've never agreed with him on numerous occasions, but if you're going to go by the progress from last year and losing 5 goals away from home, and this year, he's certainly tightened things up. He's had a real look at his side and said, look, this is the way we're going to play in European football.
Well, it's a year exactly to the day that Legia Warsaw were at Murrayfield dismantling Celtic. And as far as that backline, I think there was 5 players that started last night that featured a year ago against Legia Warsaw, Roughie. So you can see the progression. It's his side. He deserves the credit. Typical Scottish mentality. I've spoken to a number of footballers today, and suddenly from a week ago where Qarabağ looked like a half-decent side in possession, when the role reversal kicked in and they had to force the game, suddenly everybody's saying, oh, they were a rubbish side and Celtic were expected to get through. There was a job to be done. I thought they were composed and displayed a typical European performance that other Celtic sides have lacked.
Yeah, they certainly have. If you look back 2-3 years ago, Celtic's main complaint away from home in Europe was losing goals. And certainly in last night's performance, they looked as if they had a set plan and they stuck to it and got the wee break here and there. But certainly, I thought from that aspect, I thought they were impressive.
OK, I'm going to give you the 5 teams that potentially Celtic could meet, and then, I mean, what's the best one I think they could possibly hope for? Obviously, from our research so far, Roughie, I'm only saying, that there are 5 teams here. Malmo is certainly one I think Celtic would want to avoid. At the better of the 5, Skenderbo from Albania and also Astana from Kazakhstan are in the mix that they could meet. Partizan Belgrade also there in Maccabi Tel Aviv. Now, rather than me asking you, Roughie, for an in-depth analysis of them, what we have looked at is the basis that maybe the Albanian side and maybe the Kazakhstan side could be the better opponents for Celtic in the draw tomorrow.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the 2 teams that I can't pronounce. but these are the 2 that I would probably go for. I think Malmo's got and Partizan have got a wee bit of European experience behind them. So you would like to think, on the basis of, you have to say that Celtic's got to be better than these. They're not coming up against the big boys, the Arsenals, the Man Cities. So you would like to think the way they're playing just now, they'd be able to take care of any of these.
Yeah, I mentioned Malmo because they managed to see off Red Bull Salzburg once again. And of course, Des, they did reach the group stages last season. Yeah,
and they came back from 2-0 down last night, I think, over the first leg. So I think Malmo are certainly one of the teams out of the 5 that Ronny Deila will be hoping he doesn't come up against. I think Partizan Belgrade as well, Serbian players, technically very good. That's almost certainly going to be a younger athletic side, because as soon as Partizan Belgrade have any players that they can sell, they effectively sell. There's so many players have come through the Partizan squads over the years. So I would think the Albanian side would be the pick, and that's without knowing a huge amount about them, Peter. But when you look at Malmo defeating Salzburg right away, you think that's a decent performance anyway. So Malmo have caused problems for British clubs over the years, so I think that's definitely one Ronny Deila won't want.
Yeah, absolutely. But a composed performance, I always like to mention this because Celtic undoubtedly have maybe 1 or 2 bits of transfer activity to get underway before the window, closes in your mind, Roughie?
Well, I think the Celtic supporters will be hoping it's people coming in and not going out. Obviously, the Van Dijks and scenarios still hanging there. There are clubs led to believe are showing some kind of interest, and it depends how the boy's feeling, and all it needs is one bid. All it needs is one bid to come in there, and the unrest could be in his mind again. And I think he's made his mind up to move, but I'm sure Celtic will be hoping on last night's performance that he stays.
Yeah, don't forget you can interact with us and give us your thoughts on Celtic's performance against Qarabağ and who you'd like to see them meet in the draw tomorrow. It's at Peter and Roughie on Twitter and also facebook.com/Peter and Roughie. We'll be reading out some of your thoughts on tomorrow night's programme when we know the opposition. Give us your thoughts on whether you think Celtic are strong enough at this point for the group stages of the Champions League, or do you think they maybe need to add 1 or 2 more in certain positions? We'd love to hear from you on at Peter and Roughie on Twitter and facebook.com/Peter and Roughie. We mentioned European football. We want to see our Scottish clubs do well. Des, it would be great to see Aberdeen going a stage further as well. 2-1 down from the first leg, and Aberdeen and Pittodrie in particular will be bouncing tonight.
Yeah, it'll be like an old-fashioned Fergie night, I'm pretty sure. I think Derek McInnes is already urging the fans to come out in numbers and get the team moving. And I think Kenny McLean's goal last week will prove pivotal. I can see, Aberdeen scoring early tonight and winning, not comfortably, but I think we'll see the game through. Yeah,
Ryan Jack said it was one of the reasons why he signed an extension to the deal, Roughie, because he wanted to play in big games like this. And I think not only the squad, but Derek McInnes wants to test himself continually at this level.
Yeah, my main worry tonight is it is going to be a full house. There's going to be 20,000 there. I do hope they don't take stage fright. They've got to get a goal, obviously. And as Des said there, if they were to get the first goal with 20,000 behind you, you would like to think you would go on and win that one. But if it was to go the other way, it might be a wee bit of an uphill task.
Yeah. Do you fancy them?
I think it'll be tight, Peter. I really hope they do. I think we need as many Scottish teams right up by Christmas as possible.
Yep. I think if we could focus on those 2 teams in group stage European football, Des, it would be massive.
Be terrific for Scottish football, terrific for the coefficient and for everybody concerned.
Yep, absolutely. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we are looking tomorrow at 2 clubs involved in European competition one stage further to the group stages. Celtic and Aberdeen will bring you the draw on tomorrow night's programme on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow. If you get the chance to join us Monday to Friday, 6:30, and also on a Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock till 6 p.m. Just in case you're not aware of it, we have all the goal incidents right across the SPFL and of course the Barclays Premier League and beyond. Join us after the break. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's Football Show. Allan Rough is alongside me, Peter Martin, and our bookroom guest is Des McKeown. Talking football, we've been looking back at Celtic in European football, that draw tomorrow at UEFA offices, along with the Europa group, the next stage to try and get to the group stages, and let's hope Aberdeen are in the mix as well. Motherwell have got themselves in a bit of trouble, Roughie. We expected some action to be taken. The SPFL have charged them over the crowd trouble, and if I can just get this right, obviously the SFA have dealt with the player incidents during the match, but this is match organisation, security arrangements and supporter organisation as well.
Well, it's not the first time I've saw something like that happening at the end of the season. It happens on a regular basis down in England. It used to be at the end of the season. I think obviously the Motherwell supporters were more than happy the way the game went, and it has to be down to security for me. You know, it does have to be the part that it happened. That didn't seem to be enough people there, and I know it's hard on the security people, but if 300 or 400 people start charging forward, there's not really much you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about what fine, if at all, will be imposed on Motherwell. I would suspect, having been at the match, Des, it could have been a lot worse, because Motherwell fans were able to go over and taunt the Rangers supporters in that game, and it had the potential to be a powder keg.
I think that was the difference, Peter, between supporters coming on, celebrating with their team. There was a taunting of the Rangers fans, and I think we're fortunate that it didn't spill over and the Rangers fans come on at the pitch. I thought that the Motherwell fans were bang out of order for doing that. I can understand supporters being happy and a pitch invasion to celebrate with your players, but there was a nasty edge to it, and we're fortunate that we're looking at a situation that didn't turn out the way many people probably thought it would do when the Motherwell fans started to approach the Rangers support. I thought also during the course of the game, I think Lee McCulloch was hit with a flagpole.
Yep.
And I was actually amazed. The incident, I'm sure the person involved didn't intend to hit Lee McCulloch with the flagpole, but the steward didn't then go and take the flagpole off the guy.
Yeah.
I just thought, wee things like that, I just think, stewarding, policing, things have got to be right in games where there is that powder keg potential. Yeah,
absolutely. We wait to find out what the punishment will be and what the defence of it is from Motherwell. So that will develop, and as a story we'll stick on that one. As far as some of the news emerging, it wouldn't be a Peter and Roughie football show without Scott Allan. We've had him on the programme. We might as well get him back in because he's in the news every day. Roughie, Alan Stubbs has got to deflect all the questions that come his way with regards to the player. There's no sale to Rangers. I think it's the right stance from Hibs. They're digging their heels in. Why strengthen the opposition and their main opposition for the championship title? I know Walter Smith's come out today and said they're perfectly right to dig their heels in, especially when it effectively could be, no disrespect to the others in the championship, a two-horse race.
No, I think in the light of what's been happening behind the scenes at Hibs for the last 2 or 3 years with the supporters, with the board, I think there has to be a bit of unite here. I think it would send out the wrong signal to the supporters who have nearly got back on board. I think Alan Stubbs has done a tremendous job through there. And why upset it? Why upset the whole thing by one player? Why not keep him, keep everybody on board for the season? It's going to be a very, very long season, and Scott Allan's one player that you certainly want on your side.
Yeah, I still think, Des, and again, it's in the player's favour, because if he sticks at it and has another good season and impresses again with Hibernian, countless people have said he might get a really big move, but Rangers could come calling again in the summer, get him for nothing, and the player suddenly is a free agent to get a bigger slice of any money that potentially could be coming his way.
Yeah, I just think Scott Allan needs to think back 12, 15, 18 months and remember where he was. Scott Allan was kind of a forgotten man after he's moved down to West Brom from Dundee United. Hibs have given him the platform to rebuild his career, and my word, he's grabbed it. I just think it would be too hasty for him to move at this stage to a club playing in the same division. I think, sure, if another English Premiership side or a top-end Championship side, I think Rotherham have been trying to sign him as well.
Yeah, Des, I viewed that as a red herring from an agent. I have to say, as soon as I saw that, I thought to myself, there's no way he's going. No disrespect to Rotherham, he's not going to join them. That's just something positioned,
He might not, Peter. Yeah. However, Rotherham will have more money to offer Scott Allan than Rangers in terms of transfer fees to the club.
Yeah.
Because again, if you're Hibs and you're looking at, we believe maybe 250,000, 300,000 plus add-ons, how much could they potentially lose in goodwill from the supporters if they allow him to go there? I think it's a principled move from Hibs, and I think it's the right move from Hibs, and I'm delighted to see it, because for too long players have, if they wanted to leave, they manufactured that move. I think Hibs are setting a tremendous tone here by saying, no, wait a minute, you're our player, we'll decide how much we sell you for and who we're going to sell you to. I just imagine the Dundee United fans would be thinking, I wish their club had done similarly with some of the players that they've sold to some of their opposition.
Yeah, but slightly more money at stake.
Absolutely, I understand that.
Des is talking about all credit to Hibs. It's all credit to Alan Stubbs. I think it's Alan Stubbs that's forced this whole situation. I think he's told the board in no uncertain terms that he's not going anywhere. In all fairness to the board, that they are with their manager in this one, and I don't think Alan Stubbs would have signed that contract if he had went.
Yeah, well, I still think he can have another great season. He's a really good player at that level, and I think the jury's out on whether he can do it at the top level again and take that next step. But he certainly shone in the Championship last season for Hibs, and well done to them for digging their heels in it, because it's going to make it a really interesting Championship. Kilmarnock, in other news, have released Craig Sampson. He's managed to get free of his deal, and he can go and join whichever club he pleases. I think Craig Sampson's probably looked at it, Des, and thought, I'm not going to play second fiddle to Jamie McDonald. That conversation's clearly taken place.
Well, I can only imagine that Craig Sampson's fed up playing second fiddle. It took him a bit of time to become the number one at a club. He did that at St Mirren, did really well at St Mirren's, done the same down at Kilmarnock. Been involved in international squads over the last few seasons, called in when perhaps one of the three main goalkeepers in Gordon Strachan's squad has been injured. So I think behind the scenes he'll have a move worked out, and I think it's now for players who don't see other clubs coming in and actually physically paying money for them. As long as he's free of the contract, he could actually wait into September and then agree a deal then, because he's obviously out of contract. But I think you're absolutely right. I think Craig Sampson wants to be the number one somewhere, and I think he's obviously been told at this stage that Jamie McDonald's going to play.
Yeah, and while we laugh about them every time they come out, Roughie, we're not laughing now. We desperately want Scotland to get as high as they possibly can in the FIFA rankings. We're at 32, and if I had said to you, maybe over the last couple of years, by the way, Wales will be 9th. It's an incredible situation. England are 8th, Wales are 9th in the current FIFA ranking.
Yeah, I think we're all a wee bit bemused by that. I think
I'm not bemused by it, because I think they have what is it, a golden generation of players for Wales, that they've got more top quality players to call on.
But to be 9th,
yeah,
I can't get my head around that one at all. Obviously, we're sitting earlier thinking about how you get points. How many points do you get for beating a big side? How many points you get for taking a friendly against one of the smaller countries? It's an interesting one. But if it really, really means that you end up in a significant pot and a draw for some there, we have to sit down and look about how do you get to where Wales were.
Well, I think the key to it all, Roughie, is we've got to try and arrange matches against San Marino and Andorra, home and away, regularly, Des, so we can pick up the points.
Well, I think Scotland obviously played Kuwait and get absolutely Qatar, and get absolutely hee-haw for it. In terms of credit, I think they're meaningless. I know Roughie's saying about what pot you get into. Obviously, that's important, but see if they're 9th in the world, doesn't really matter who they come up against, because they're one of the top teams in the world, effectively. I just think it's bewildering how they come up with the rankings. For Wales to be 9th ahead of, I think, Holland in Spain is bamboozling.
Yep, absolutely. You can give us your thoughts at Peter and Roughie on Twitter and also facebook.com/Peter and Roughie. Des McKeown's been our guest tonight in the studio. Just one little footnote, Roughie, as we get ever closer to the Champions League group stages. I'm just looking at the news that Pedro could be on his way out of Barcelona. They're desperate to hold on to him. It's the breakup of one of the greatest teams that we've witnessed over the last 20, 30 years in Barcelona. When you consider Xavi's no longer there, Pedro could be going as well.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, but as we spoke about it, I think it was last night, they have a great academy, they have a great ethos there. They keep churning them out, they keep bringing them out, and as you said the other night there, they're as good as the players that are leaving eventually when they get enough experience, and they just have a quality setup.
Yeah, and I wish I had more time, Des, to ask you the better side. Was it the 2006 side with Ronaldinho in it, or the 2009 or last year's side with Messi, Neymar and Suarez?
I wish I had more time too, Peter, but I'd go last year.
Last year. Roughie?
Probably last year as well.
Okay. See, you can get on Twitter and agree or disagree with us on that. Thanks to Des for joining us here in the studio alongside Roughie, and lots of people tweeting in. Great to see Roughie back with the pink and white striped shirt. We can see more of that and more of his shirts if you join us 6:30 STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow Monday to Friday.